Carm Capriato, Remarkable Results Radio's Town Hall Academy. Yes, the great summit for the forever automotive aftermarket student. Glad to have you here. An exciting topic today, myASE Renewal app. So there's an app for everything. You could buy food. You could have people wait in line for you at a restaurant if you had the right app. And now you can continue to stay perpetually certified, if I'm correct, with myASE app. How exciting that is. Good to I got a great panel, very knowledgeable panel. I can't wait to introduce them to you. But first, a high five out to Jasper Engines, that continues to be a great sponsor of the show as the average age of vehicles continues to rise. 11.8, I think, is the number now. You know, your customer's old engine or transmission is going to wear out. And when that day comes, Jasper will be the name to remember. Jasper's remanufactured products cost considerably less than getting or buying a new vehicle. So it just makes sense to choose Jasper for your customers' drive train problems. Okay, gang. Wow. Kevin Lekas, thanks for putting this together. I bumped into you at a great conference in Biloxi, Mississippi, at a Napa conference, and we were kind of hooked up and talking, and he says, hey, you know, we got this. And I go, ooh, it's a bubble. I have to chase that. Well, what was that? And he goes, well, that's our ASE Renewal app. I said, how come I didn't know about it? That was my first question. How come I didn't know about it? And if I didn't know about it, I mean, how many other people don't know about it? And I said, hey, let's come on and let's talk about it. With us is Kevin Lekas, Project Manager, Special Testing Programs at ASE. Say hi.
Hey, everyone.
John Tisdale, Assistant Vice President at ASE. John's been there for 23 years and has had his hands involved in this project since the beginning, right, John?
Yes, I have, Carm, and welcome, everyone. Great to have you here today.
Glad you're here. And Ron Meyer is with us, the Chief Operating Officer of Higher Learning Technologies, HLT. They're the ASE developer. HLT has an impressive story about their products, including the nursing home industry. I know we don't have time to talk about that, but that is interesting. Ron, welcome.
Thank you, Carm. I appreciate it. Hello,
Glad
everyone.
to have you here. Always good to, we say, well, we'll blame it on Ron type of thing, right, if we have to. And Rudy Mestaz is here from Nick Modesti's Car Care in Southern California. Now, Rudy's an ASE recertified master automobile technician with an L1. He's been certified since 2006. Well, glad to have you here. And I know you've been involved in are working the ASE Renewal app, right?
I am. Yes, it's as I understand it, it's in the beta phase right now. So that's I signed up for that. Yes.
Beta.
Is that correct?
Sometimes things are in beta forever.
Right.
And hopefully you guys are going to announce one day that it's coming out of beta. So look at John, you're the senior man here. I want to start with you. By the way, thank you all so much for being here to help educate every one of us, shop owners, technicians, service advisors, to the fact that now we can reach out and not have to worry about scheduling and going to a testing center. We can do this on the fly. So John, why did ASE create this app?
Well, it's, as you can imagine, being in the business here, ASE being in the business of offering credentials for technicians for over 40 years, you know, we've had to adapt to a lot of different changes in our industry, particularly how we serve our customers in our industry. And really the creation of the app came as a result of input from technicians, you know, our customers who seek out and see value in the technician in certification and seek it out from us. Recertifiers primarily, we heard a lot of feedback from them that you know, they come back every 5 years traditionally to recertify with us and keep their credentials current. But we've always heard feedback from them about, you know, the whole testing process of, you know, the test center and you know, what does recertification testing really do for me? You know, does it help me learn? I'd really like to see the questions that I miss. a whole myriad of different input that, has kind of melded itself together. And, over time as technology's changed and this opportunity to enter into the environment of a maintenance of certification model that a lot of other industries are engaging in that offer professional credentialing for their practitioners. We've ventured into that world and hopefully offering a tool that's going to have a value of keeping credentials, not only keeping credentials current in a more convenient way, but also assisting technicians to identify gaps in their knowledge and help drive them to training that's going to keep them sharp in their field and do the best they can every day in the shop servicing their customers.
John, take us to the day you guys sat around the room and made this big corporate decision to do this. You had to be super excited about, really getting to the next level.
Absolutely. We'd been for years talking about different options of how we might modify the whole recertification process. As technology started to progress with apps, mobile apps on the phone. ASE was looking at different ways of, hey, how could we come up with a good app that would have application and value to our customer, and in the same conversation as try to modify the recertification process with the research and other things that are going on in other industries. Those two thoughts collided, and here we are, and very exciting place to be, emulating a lot of what other credentialing industries are doing with the delivery, which Ron will talk a little bit about, but yeah, very, very exciting venture for us to dive into.
Kevin, let me ask you, how's the app work?
The app actually works very easy. It's a very intuitive product that we have out there. First off, to sign up for the app, you're going to head over to the myASE Renewal website, and the address is www.myaserenewal.com. Now, sometimes we get asked the question, why are you doing that? Why can't we just go to the ASE website and sign up for the app? Well, part of it is what kind of Rudy was alluding to a little bit earlier, is we are in the process of fine-tuning the app, and it is in a beta phase right now. And currently, the app is being housed over at Higher Learning Technologies. And so their website is what contains all the information. When somebody signs up, they actually are putting in their email address and creating a password on their server. From there, they go ahead and give their ASE ID to the HLT website. That comes back over to us. We then tell them what certifications the person has. They go back into the system, and it's able to get started and go right on in. So based on the certifications that they have, they'll actually receive those on their phone.
Okay, so it's seamless between the two companies, but there's a separate site in order to make this work. And once I sign up, what starts happening?
Okay, so once you sign up, there's a couple things that can occur. First, you can sign up for a 3 free day trial. So all you need is an ASE ID. So you go ahead, sign up. We've got a series of questions over there to kind of give you the flavor and the feel about how the app works. And they are random, so they're not really associated with any particular certification that you may have already earned. But it kind of gives you an idea of how it works, how we deliver the items. You answer a question, you get it correct. We go ahead and send you the next one. You answer a question incorrect. We go ahead and tell you why the answer was incorrect, and then we send you a second chance item that will come a little bit later and give you that opportunity then to hopefully learn from the lack of knowledge you had with that previous question.
Excellent. Well, we're going to dive back into some more of the how-tos and the tactics behind this. But Ron, I want to drag you in here since you're the app maker. And what's amazing is, I don't know how many apps you guys have on your phone, but I got a lot. And somebody hidden in a back room somewhere where there's no light in the mushroom cellar has to make this stuff. Right, Ron?
Well, somebody does have to make it. I don't know if we're in a back room without any light, but no, we absolutely have to do this. The good news is, and we too have a lot of apps, and we've developed a number over the years, over the course of about 7 years or so, many different industries. And our heritage is in the healthcare industry, but we've kind of moved a little bit out of that. And when ASE came to us with this idea, to kind of change the rules a little bit around certification in the automotive industry, we were very excited. We were able to take our platform, a lot of best practices that we've applied, as John had said, in some other industries, and really kind of bring it into this this big idea that they had brought to us. So we were very excited. Came out of that dark room, and we were able to deploy the pilot app last year during 2018, and then we moved into beta this year in 2019.
Excellent. I appreciate that. Jump in any time if you
Sure.
hear these guys, say something or comment on something that you'd love to comment on. Rudy, so glad to have you here. You're a user of this app, so did they knock on your door way back in the beginning and says, "Hey, we know you, we love you. Can you play in the sandbox with us?"
No, not at all. Actually, someone else was using the app and brought it to our attention on one of the automotive technicians' web forums. So he displayed the link. I clicked on the link. I looked it up. I read on about it, and it seemed interesting. It seemed like the way to go. So I decided to give it a try.
So you bought in. It didn't take you but a few minutes to realize that this was something for you.
I'm 43, and I think that I'm in the generational age between boomers and millennials. So technology is familiar, really familiar with me. I kind of grew up when the internet was just starting to take off. So using apps, I have like you, I have a ton of apps on my phone, and for me, anything that streamlines the old way of doing things, especially like through an app, I think it's much better.
So Rudy, have you found it to be a time saver?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, tremendously. No. Yeah. Where normally you have to take time off work. Well, initially with the paper and pencil testing, that was a real hassle. But when they moved to computer-based testing, that was a little easier. But even here in the metropolis city like Los Angeles, the test centers are still kind of far, from like where you live or where you work. The closest test center to me is like 15 miles away. So
Okay.
I'd have to take time off of work and schedule a test and then go sit for a few hours. Utilizing the app, I can take a test question any time of the day, whenever I want. And the questions are timed. They're typically about 2 or 3 minutes per question. And I can knock it out on my lunch break.
Okay. He brought up something excellent, Kevin, and I want to go to you. He said you have 2 or 3 minutes. So let's talk a little bit about how the app works. If I signed up, forget my 3-day trial, I'm in. Now, what do I expect? How does it work?
Okay, so based on the certifications you have previously earned, you are going to be immediately delivered one question. And once you choose that question, you have anywhere between 2 to 5 minutes to answer the question. If the question is textual based, it's typically that 2-minute window. And if it's got illustrations or a lot of information to process, we give you a 5-minute window. From there, once you answer that question, you get it right or you get it wrong. And then after we tell you what's going on, you can then move on to your next certification. Then after you've answered all your questions, 30 days later, we're going to go ahead and send you your next round. Now, one thing I probably should mention here is when you answer a question, you earn a point. And then the whole goal of the app, besides the convenience and the learning piece of it, there's a reward at the end. And the reward is after earning 8 points, we're going to extend the expiration date of your certification by 1 year. And this would apply to both people with expired credentials as well as current credentials. Of course, if you're expired, we're going to go ahead and make them current and then push it out. But if you are a current certified technician, you'll earn a 1-year extension for answering the questions.
How do I earn 1 point?
Answer the question correctly.
Wait a minute. So if I answer 8 questions correctly, I get extended a year?
Well, yeah, and it's per certification. So you get 1 question per month. So you have the opportunity to earn 1 point per month per certification. And then once you have earned 8 credits, that's when your extension is going to be awarded.
Okay. I was maybe misunderstood Rudy when he says, hey, if I have a few minutes, I'll take a test. It's not when you want. I mean, yes, you can pick the time, but you still only get one question a month?
Per certification area. Yes,
Per
that is correct.
certification. So if you had 3 or 4 certifications, you're expecting to get four questions a month.
Yes, and in Rudy's case, where he's a master technician, he's going to receive 8 questions every 30 days.
Okay, so going back to you, Rudy, does that work out of a 4-week month that you're going to get about 8 questions tossed at you? But again, you pick the time they come into you, right?
Right. As far as I know, there's no time limit as to when you can answer the question. So I never tried. Maybe Kevin can answer. Maybe you can carry them over month to month and answer all of your questions at once. I don't know. I've always, as soon as a new question was available to me, I jumped on it.
Yeah, and the way that the system is designed, if somebody did want to hold on to them, they absolutely could, but ASE was hoping that there would be continuous engagement. And exactly the experience Rudy is having is what we were hoping would occur here, because we are trying to focus in on some newer technology, more of that leading edge type of technology. And by doing this continuously over time, the hope is that when the technicians see some of this new technology come into their bay, they're going to be a little bit more familiar with it and know where to get the information, so that when they have to work on those cars, they're not just completely blown out of the water by something that's brand new.
Rudy, have you taken a test question and got it wrong?
A few times.
Okay.
I think that some of the questions, for me, they seem to be manufacturer specific. And in this phase of the app right now, we can pose questions to, I guess, the developers or the test writers, and they would point out how they developed the question, and if they think the question is not manufacturer specific, they think it's more broad or general. But the questions that I got wrong were questions that I was fairly certain they were manufacturer specific.
Okay, a whole bunch of things are going through my head, and hopefully I can get them landed. When you get the wrong answer, do they tell you what the right one is then?
They do, yes.
And then you take exception to that.
Yeah, uh-huh.
And you can, and at the current, guys, is it because it's in beta that exception can happen? John, Kevin?
It's let me say something real quick. It's wrong, even if you take exception to it. It's wrong, but you can challenge it right in the app.
Okay, and that allows the team at ASE to see what the trend is, or what the ear to the ground is in the field.
Right.
Yeah, and you know, Carm, what we were talking about trying to bring that leading edge technology out to everybody, that's where sometimes these type of issues happen. You know, we don't know everything. Most technicians out there don't know everything, unless you talk to them. Some of them, they'll tell you they know everything. But the truth is, you know, there are gaps in people's knowledges out there. And with the way the technology is evolving, and when there's so many new things coming out, a good example is going to be around the whole ADAS systems. Those things are changing so rapidly, and there's a lot of folks out there that are unfamiliar with what's going on and how that technology works. These are the type of things that we try to focus in on with the app. And we fully expect that folks are going to have a hard time with some of the questions. But the thing is, we are giving them a second chance, and if necessary, up to a third chance. And we are trying to keep the questions in groups or families, so that when that second chance or the third chance question comes around, that the information that is being discussed in those questions is going to be the same as the first question that was delivered to the technician. So the hope is that they go out and go, wait a second, I don't agree with this. I'm going to go ahead and choose my favorite search engine. They go ahead and type in, and they start doing some learning. And then maybe they get even more upset and they go talk to one of their buddies. And then now 2 people are sitting there learning about this and discussing it. And so when the question comes back around, they'll be prepared for it. And then again, they'll have a better understanding of how the system works.
Yeah, what I just heard, John, from Kevin, it sounds like you guys have really thought this through.
Yeah, we've done a lot of back behind the scenes research and really thinking through some of the same principles that we've applied to content development since the beginning of time, since ASE began in 1972, with a little bit of a variation, as Kevin said, dealing with more leading edge technology topics. And again, the value to the app is, as Rudy already mentioned, and this is what offers a value to our recertifiers. Something I touched on was we'll tell them right then and there if they answer a question incorrectly. We'll tell them why the answer choice that they chose that was incorrect. We'll tell them why that's incorrect, and we'll tell them why the other two answer options were incorrect and why the correct option that we intended them to answer or measure their knowledge with, we'll tell them why that is correct. A brief statement. So
previously in any of the other tests, you didn't have that feature. So in order to build this app, to design a question and to explain the right answer, you guys have had to do a lot of extra work.
That's true. We have, but that's what hopefully we're building into the app to give it a higher level of value and really answer one of the concerns that caused us to enter into this environment in the first place. Help me understand what it is that I don't know. The questions that I miss. Why did I miss them? And the app does that and offers that learning opportunity.
And Carm, I wanted to mention one other thing. It may have gotten buried a little bit. We think about historically how we learn textbooks and things of that nature. We think about historically the way recertification exams have happened in a test center where you really can't interact, with the proctor and really ask questions about content, et cetera. The app really gives a lot of good opportunity here, right? So you're inside of it. Obviously, the focus is on learning. You want to do your renewal. But once you've answered a question, you've got a couple different options. If there are any technical glitches with the app, if you really have a question for us as the app provider, right inside the app, you can basically hit a question mark in the upper right-hand corner, send us a question. Our customer service people will get back with you very quickly. But another feature, and this was what Rudy was talking about, if you do take exception or you just want to know more about this concept, you, along with everybody else who's seen this item, can participate in a discussion thread. So if we think about the forums that we're all part of in our industries, et cetera, right inside that item, you can basically, push on the little blue bubble at the bottom and really just kind of make your comment, ask your question, and then everybody who has been on this item before or who will see it in the future will be able to help you understand the concept better. And then, we kind of get a really good opportunity to do, really kind of crowdsourcing of knowledge and learning. So those are a couple features I wanted to mention that do support the concepts here.
I love it. I think that was a great thing, Ron. Appreciate you chiming in on that. Hey, why purchase a Jasper quality remanufactured product? Well, it's their people. A Jasper associate is dedicated to high quality customer service, committed to excellence, professional, and has pride of ownership in a 100% associate owned company. If you get a chance to visit the plant, please do. Great company, jasperengines.com. Hey, I want to thank Kevin Lekas, John Tisdale, Ron Meyer, and Rudy Mestaz to be here talking about myASE app. And if you're listening and hanging out with us on Facebook, give us a share inside of your network. So far, good stuff, guys. Hey, Kevin, what formats, devices, Apple's, Android, what can I even use Windows on my desktop?
Yeah, it basically all of the above. To sign up for the app, you have to start out with a PC. So that's where you go ahead and create your account. Or if you were doing it on a mobile device, you'd have to do it through a browser, such as Chrome, Safari, something like that. But then once you've created your account and everything is active and up and running, then you can head over to your favorite app store, whether it's Google Play or the Apple App Store, and you can download the app right onto your phone. And you would just sign in with the email account and password you've created, and away you go. It's going to look very similar to the PC version of it. And, for some of us like myself that the eyeballs aren't as good as they used to be a few years ago, well, maybe the PC might be a little bit more helpful to you. And that's available in that format as well. The only things that it really doesn't work too well on is like a Kindle or an Amazon Fire or one of those type of devices. But if you have got either an Apple or an Android cell phone and you have a PC or an Apple, those things were the machines to use with the app.
So, John, maybe you're the guy to answer this question. You always bring in subject matter experts to write the questions, and you vet them religiously. I remember being part of a parts specialist program many years ago, and I was so amazed as to what it takes to, the comprehensiveness that ASE goes through to write questions. Now, are you writing two serious sets of questions, one for the app and one for the normal process?
We are, Carm. That's a great question. We are developing all of this content for the app to use exclusively in the app. Obviously, using it in the app and in a mobile device and out in the way that we are, that content's getting out in the public domain, if you will. And that's okay, because the way that this program works, again, the learning aspect, as Kevin had already mentioned, if two people are discussing a question, it's not really cheating. Learning's going on, and people are becoming better in their in their knowledge base. So but what we do want to do is keep the secure questions secure, the questions that we're going to use in the Secure Testing Center to test first-time certifiers. We want to make sure that we keep those questions secure and tightly held, so that those certification tests, the validity of them and the defensibility of them aren't in any way, shape, or form compromised for someone earning a credential from us for the first time.
Ron, that had to pose you a huge challenge.
Well, and it is, and I guess it's what, so outside the test center and in situations like this, if people want to cheat, they will cheat. However, I think ASE has taken, probably a much, more mature view of this, which is it's a learning app, right? The goal is to support lifelong learners. It isn't so much cheating whenever you talk to somebody else, because you and they are probably learning right alongside each other. And that really is the ultimate goal. So we certainly still have, some standard methods. You have to log in, you have to have, credentials, a password, etc. Even to get onto your phone, right? Most of us have, some type of protection there. So it's not as if the content is being, shared outside of that with a lot of different people. We take the best measures we can, but, like anything, if people really want to cheat, they will find ways to, to take this information, share it, et cetera. But I think it's a different perspective now on, how that can actually be used as a foundation for learning.
I like that, John. That's a huge statement that Ron just said. I mean, he basically said we're committed to lifelong learning in a way we never expected.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the things that we hope is going to transcend through the future of the app, to really have it assist the automotive industry in providing the opportunity to expand that learning of our practitioners, in hopes to make them all better and continue to stay tops in their field throughout their career.
Excellent, excellent. So that's the vision that you have for the app, that it's just going to grow and flourish and become the standard bearer for ASE.
We hope so. Again, we're looking at from the value proposition. This adding a higher level of value for the user. As opposed to just pure taking a test. Tests designed to test your knowledge, but tests aren't really designed to teach. So we like the opportunity for the teaching aspect with the myASE Renewal app program to really, again, further that mission to not only help technicians stay in the fold, which is going to keep us with a large base of credentialed practitioners out in the field, assisting the industry with having qualified folks out there working on the vehicles every day, but also, the aspects of this expanding knowledge base and keeping folks current with the ever-changing technology we all face in our industry.
Well, let me put the challenge out to anyone who's watching this on Facebook right now, or who will watch this over the weekend, and once we repurpose it next Thursday. Please share this. I think I'm just going to make an assumption that there needs to be a much bigger segment of the industry that needs to know this, embrace this, sign up, and do something about it, so that this whole thing blossoms and lives. John, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but you probably need a whole lot more players to make this thing really work.
Yeah, and right now, again, as we've touched on, we are in a beta phase. We are still in testing and acceptance mode, if you will. From where we've started, we've come a long way, but we've still got a long way to go, right?
Okay.
So,
yeah. So do you sit down, guys? Kevin or John answer this with techs like Rudy. After they've been on for a few months, or are you bringing a panel together of myASE subscribers and asking them their insights on the app?
Yeah, we have been doing exactly that. We have been holding some webinars here, and we have been inviting key players. The app itself right now is pushing right around 9 to 10 months old of being in the beta phase. And so if you remember, we were talking about earning 8 credits. Well, that's exactly what's happening right now. We are getting our first handful of people, and it's a couple hundred actually, so it's more than a handful, but the first few hundred adopters have started earning their extensions. And so we've actually been reaching out to them, holding invitational webinars, trying to get feedback from them. We have been sending out some surveys through our marketing team, and just trying to find out, what do they like? What don't they like about this? What could we do better? And that's really kind of what the beta phase is about doing that fine tuning, because once we do go into full production, we really don't want to mess with it very much. We want to go ahead and keep it the way that it is, and then let everyone have the same experience.
A side note, Ron, are you tweaking this a lot?
I would say we're doing some changes. We actually made probably more during the beta last year. During the pilot. During the beta, we certainly have made some. A lot of the changes we tweak actually are behind the scenes in terms of how we do question delivery and things like that. Yeah. The user experience is similar, because you have to understand, we've had about 8 million downloads of our various apps, and they all have a similar user experience. So we've actually made a lot of refinements to that user experience over the years.
Yeah, the history of you as an app maker brought a lot of legacy to ASE because you've been there and done that.
Right.
Got it. Rudy, what are your buds saying in the industry about this?
I think for the most part, people like it. Those that have signed up, surprisingly, a lot of technicians don't know about it. So I tell them, yeah, I signed up online. I'm recertifying online, and they're surprised to hear about that. There are a lot of people that really don't know about the app.
Okay, so my next question to ASE, because I know you guys are great marketers, with my tongue firmly planted in my cheek, John, what are you doing to promote this to the industry?
Well, that's a really good question, Carm. Because we're in the beta phase, we have actually, the reason why a bunch of people haven't heard about this is that's purposeful. We actually started off in beta mode and reached out to a cross-demographic group of technicians so that we could look at different appetites for the app. People that were totally expired. Okay, people that are expiring end of this year, people that are expiring 1 year out from now or 2 years out from now. So that was actually very purposeful so that we could research the acceptance side and find out, exactly what we talked about. What are the likes and dislikes, and what fine tuning do we need to make so when we do release it to the entire population of technicians, that it basically can just run and everybody has the same experience. So again, we're still in the beta, we're still in the testing and tweaking mode.
Okay, so I won't release this episode, and we'll take it down off of Facebook in an hour.
No, we're not saying that. We're not saying that.
I know, I'm kidding. And I think you're right. I mean, Matt just chimed in here and says it's the technician's job through, I guess, word of mouth marketing and, sharing and telling people to promote this. But it seems to me that not every tech in the US is certified, and we could use a whole lot more. And the same may be for the app and for so many technicians that do not have any ASE credentials. This could be a groundswell for you guys.
Yeah, Carm, it is. And we actually, when we were putting this thing together, we were targeting some very specific demographics. And one of those is folks that have been previously certified, but have since, for various reasons, let their certifications lapse. And so if you are a technician that has an expired credential, but you have interest in getting your credential back up and being current, this app is absolutely for you. Not only is it going to help to bring out the information that in the most current vehicles that's out there, but it'll give you a way there's not the pressure behind it. Because we hear a lot of times about test anxiety, and like Rudy was talking about, having to take time off work and things like that. So employers like this, the technicians like it, it's the convenience side of it, but we want to get those folks to come back into the fold. And if this is a great, easy, inexpensive way for them to do it, then we welcome them on board.
I love it, you guys. Great answers, by the way. That was a commercial, Kevin. I just want to let you know that. We send you the recording and you could publish it. Here's another reason to choose Jasper. It's their commitment to continuous improvement. Their investment in research and development, product updates, and remanufacturing processes means Jasper provides the perfect product. JasperEngines.com. Hey, this was great. I think it was tight. It was to the point. I think you all had really good things to say. Is there anyone who'd love to have a final word as we talk about myASE app? Great way to be certified and take tests through an app.
Well, I've got a real quick story I'd like to share.
I'd love to hear it.
It's really a fun one. We do have a private Facebook group. And so for people who have paid to subscribe to the app, they can jump on board and they can talk with their other technicians. And it's really a fun place. And I've been enjoying getting to know technicians more than just the higher level that I normally interact with them. And one of the comments Rudy made, I've heard over and over again, that these questions are manufacturer specific and they're not real world and so on and so forth. But what happens is a lot of that stuff is very leading edge technology. And so there are a handful of manufacturers that are utilizing it, but the technology is going to become more predominant. I had a technician that got a hold of me and was pretty upset about a dual clutch transmission question that was in the app. And this particular technician worked for a manufacturer that did not have any dual clutch transmissions in their lineup. So I just did my due diligence. I jumped online and I did a couple searches, and lo and behold, that manufacturer about 3 months ago had just been awarded a patent for a dual clutch transmission on a new car that they were going to be releasing in the 2020 model year. And so my response back to that technician was, I guess this app is really just right in time with you, because you don't really know anything about this transmission, but next year you're going to see this car in your bay. And it was just a really neat story that ended with somebody not really happy with what was going on, and it turned out to be really good. So lots of stories like that, but it's definitely a fun one.
Well, you guys are really on the cutting edge then in question writing.
We try to, and that's actually the challenge that we gave to our industry experts. We brought together the committees and we tell them we want to start focusing in on leading edge stuff. Now, the aftermarket doesn't have the luxury sometimes that the manufacturer side has of seeing a technology or a product. Typically those vehicles are only seen once they come out of warranty. And so we want to try to focus in on technologies that technicians, one, are having difficulty with, but two, we're trying to help the industry and prepare them for what's coming down the pipe. And I think the app is meeting both of those goals really nicely.
What I like that he just said, and anyone can take exception with that by saying, well, listen, that's not fair, because that you're talking about the future. I haven't gone to a class on that. I haven't read a thing about the dual clutch. The thing that's beautiful about the app, correct me if I'm wrong, is that I get a chance to take another question.
That's correct.
And so I learned from the fact that, oh my God, that is out there and it is cutting edge and it is part of our future. And okay, I learned something. Now give me something I can answer. And so you basically get a chance. How many chances? 3?
You get up to 3 chances. So if you miss it the first time, 30 days later, we'll give you a second chance. If you miss it the second time, 30 days after that, you get your third chance. And it's kind of like baseball, 3 strikes and you're out, and you've just lost that opportunity then to earn a point. But over a 12-month time period, we're going to give everybody up to 36 chances to earn 8 points. And we feel that that's very generous, and that is more than fair to allow somebody to earn enough points to extend their credential.
And how many questions per certification?
Well, you're going to get 12 over a 12-month time period. So it's something we want, again, for that continuous learning cycle to occur. So once every 30 days, you'll get what we call a core question. And then if you get that core question wrong, then you'll get your second chance question 30 days after that. Otherwise, your regularly scheduled question or your core question will come every 30 days. And that's how it's set up in the timer. So right around, let's say if you're going to question on the 25th of the month, every month around the 25th, depending on the number of days within the month, you'll receive another question.
And Rudy, you can live with all this, right?
I like it. I think different technicians may have different opinions, but for me personally, I think it's great.
I love it. Anything else, John?
Well, again, as Kevin's kind of already touched on, and we've pretty much identified here today, really the idea here is that with those leading edge topics, the main purpose of the app is to help create an awareness in technicians where the gaps of their knowledge are exist, with this up and coming technology that they may not have experienced yet. Create an awareness of that gap in their knowledge, drive them towards learning about that, and give them a second chance to demonstrate that they have learned it. And in a nutshell, that's what the app is all about and designed to do, is to help them learn, be better, expand their knowledge, serve their customers better, and at the same time, keep their certifications current, pretty much in perpetuity by continuing to participate in the myASE Renewal program.
A student in perpetuity, one of my favoriteest words, John. Thank you for bringing that up. Hey, listen, this was great. I enjoyed it. I think we may have hit a home run here, at least in the ability to teach the rest of the world what's going on with myASE Renewal app. Thank you, Kevin Lekas, Project Manager at ASE, John Tisdale, Assistant Vice President at ASE, Ron Meyer, COO of Higher Learning Technologies, who created the ASE app, and Rudy Mestaz, our practical, get-it-done technician kind of guy who pretty much says, I love it. Hey, guys, have a great weekend. Thanks for being here.
You too. Thank you.
Carm.
Thanks for having us, Carm.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everyone.